Good afternoon, my friends. How are y'all doing today? It's Carpo. I'm coming at you from the bus, as usual. My safe space for making videos. This will be probably video number 3 here on the channel. Slowly working back up there. I have several different subjects, just moving around in my mind. Then once in a while I think, I'm going to make a video and talk about this, and then I end up making a video about something else completely. It's the original video that I was going to talk about here was about personal time, about taking time for yourself. And then I started thinking about how, I used to think of myself as very outgoing and very social person, but I also find that I need my personal time. So that's kind of the introverted side of it. And the reason I was thinking is because I just got off the phone with a friend, and we were talking about whether or not he wants to go to Soak with me this year. Soak is, my regional burn. Actually, I'm wearing last year's shirt right now. Superstition was the theme. It's a Burning Man event. Each area has their own regional Burning Man. I think most states have one. Not sure. I doubt all of them do, but maybe. I would assume that probably every state would have one. You would think, but there are, burners, as Burning Man people call themselves, all over. I've been going to Soak for I think 8 or 9 years. I think 8 years. I go every year and absolutely love it. And it's 5 days out in the middle of nowhere with nothing more than what you bring with you. There's no sales. Nothing's allowed to be bought or sold or even bartered. It's just a gifting type atmosphere. And the first time I went, I was taken back by the experience. My brother and I played in a band back then. It was our little band. He said, hey, we got a gig at this regional Burning Man thing called Soak. And I'll tell you, 8 years later, I've still never been to the main burn. I'm not a burner. I'm not a playa guy who goes out in the desert and comes home dusty and brags about it and says, look, I went to the Burning Man. To be honest, I'm just not that interested in it. I don't really have much of a desire to go out on the desert. I mean, sure, I would go if I was invited and had extra money and I was able to spend the time, but not to pack up all my crap and drive all the way down there, and I can't. Anyhow, I'll get beyond that. The point is that I found the regional Burning Man is something that I really found is, it's quiet, it's quaint. It's crazy because when I first started going, the first couple of years we got tickets for free. Because we played in a band there, and you don't get paid to play, you just play for free. So the last 2 years, tickets have been very difficult to get. There's only about 1,500 people at the venue. I think that's something like that, the capacity of how many people we allow. Now, it is on private land and it's in the desert, but we only get a permit for that many people. And since the whole community is run on gifting and volunteer work, then you don't find anybody that's going to, put up with your bullshit if you have a complaint or anything like that. It's one of those things where it's like, Soak is run by the people, if you will. I mean, I volunteer at the ice booth, and other people volunteer as rangers or helping out with medical or whatever it might be. So the reason I mention that is because after talking with my friend and seeing if he wanted to go, I was saying, hey, it's not for everyone. But I said, I go because it's my selfish yearly thing that I do for me to get my thoughts together. Spend 4 or 5 days gathering my thoughts again for the next year. And it is a 24-hour party, but it's also, having time where you can just sit and think about things, even if you're in a tent with music blaring, is an amazing experience. And of course, psychedelics are always a component of many of these experiences, but not always. For me, I like to get up in the morning early and make a cup of coffee and walk around and talk to people, the early risers. And there are so many different types of people to go. Younger crowd, older crowd, really old crowd. There's, every age group, every different type of style and person you can imagine. And, I think people get the wrong impression of Burning Man, especially people who have never, they from what I gather and some of the opinions that I've heard is that Burning Man are just Silicon Valley pretentious assholes who go out and spend too much money having fun. It's so much more than that, but even if it was that, so what? Really, when you have money, all you need to, all that really matters in life are experiences, going out and doing things. And but the thing about, the Burning Man atmosphere is that it's artistic. You can create things, you can invent things, you can share them with people, and people do it for free. There's no money. And I'm just so sick of commercialized world. And that brings me full circle to the reason why I tend to isolate and not find myself joining groups, or even online like forums bother me, because there's always these idiots who just don't get it. And I think, well, that's my own arrogance. Why do I think I get it? Well, I don't think that I understand everything. I just know that I have certain values and certain behaviors that I think are appropriate. And I think that what a lot of people are doing in society is just not conducive to the way I want to live my life. And the Burning Man atmosphere, going to soak, it really is, to me, is just something amazing. It's different because everybody there is there for the same reason. They're not there to see some specific band or hear this specific DJ play, because only the people play. There's stages set up. Whoever wants to have a stage and a little dance area can, but you all set up your own stuff. In other words, Soak doesn't come and set up stages or anything like that. The only thing that the volunteers set up are like the main burn, where there's two burns. Usually they burn a temple and then they burn the man, and every regional has their own little burn if it's allowed. So everybody gathers Saturday night and does the burn and dances around the fire, and it's very primal. It's a very amazing experience. But I kept wanting to say it's not for everyone, but the truth is I really believe it is. At least once to go to something like that, something that's not commerce based, because commerce, it's like, it's devil in disguise. We have everything is about profit and money. I'm no stranger to, seeing people from either stealing from me or stealing from each other, or, hearing about somebody who cheated some old lady out of her savings because he was a fraudster or whatnot. Just the things that people can do. The unconscious, or unconscionable, I guess that's the word, acts that people do to each other. It's not quite so cut and dry that they're just bad people. It's just that some people do stupid things and they're able to put their blinders on and say, well, that's just business. That's just how it works. And that's how the business world thinks. That's, the way that the banking industry works. All of our, societal ills stem from this distancing ourselves from each other and forgetting that, to treat each other with respect and be fair with one another in our dealings. And that, I know that seems like it's off subject to the video, but it's not. That's really why I find myself isolating and why I have a hard time really being social. YouTube is my outlet. But when it comes to, going out or going to the bar or anything like that, no, it's just not my thing at all. I have a hard time. When I meet people, I can talk to them, but it's really hard to gauge people's intentions. And not that everyone has ill intent, or even most of the people, but the fact that not that people have ill intent, but that some people have no intent, no fucking intention at all to learn anything useful, to understand anything about their fellow man. People become xenophobic and distance themselves and hide out under the covers and say, this is the way my life is. Everybody else is out to get their own, and it's the dog-eat-dog world. And I think that that's why I love Soak so much, because it's the exact opposite of that. And it took me the first 3 or 4 years. It took me 4 years or so to actually realize that you can really just walk up to anybody who's, has food that if it looks like someone's selling something, then they're probably giving it out. That you can walk up to a bar and it's free. A little, walk up to somebody cooking food and they'll give you, the only thing is you bring your own plate, your own silverware, and they don't. It's a leave no trace type atmosphere where it's not about being, oh, well, we clean up everything and no litter. It's like they set it up, they clean it better than they found it. So, even the coals are raked out after the burn and new grass is planted. And I just find that just so awesome, because nobody's trying to fake their way through a shift or volunteer shift or to just make it look like they're doing a good job. If people really want to do good work, you don't volunteer so you can try to cheat your way out of it. And I just see it as kind of a microcosm for the larger picture of what I would like to see in society. Groups of people that are all understanding of each other to the degree they can be. But it doesn't mean that everyone has to be on the same page. It means that we all understand that we're in this game together. And if you want to play the game properly, then we have to have a community. It's easy to say that a man can, dine alone, and hey, anyone can. But having family and friends is something that I think most people would agree is a crucial asset to living a fulfilled life. And if you never had it, then sometimes we never know what we're missing. But there's also something to be said about that solitude. And that solitude it means that, if you're an introvert, an extrovert, none of that really means anything. We all have a little bit of each of them in us. And so to give each other a little bit of space and to maybe find a community that works for us, where we can talk to people of like mind. I'm a little bit of a weirdo, so I'm not going to say that like Burning Man or Soak is for everyone. Some people would go and probably freak out that people are walking around with the crazy clothes they are. Some people would be offended by the fact that there's naked people walking around. And to me, it's just another day, There's nothing surprising at all at Soak. And so that's why it's, I don't know, something special for me. And so it's 3 weeks away. When the tickets went on sale the other day, I almost forgot. I was going to go on a walk, and I was like, oh shit, they go on sale at 8 o'clock tonight, because they'd moved it forward to 8 p.m. And I was like, okay, so it was 7:57. I ran and grabbed my computer. I logged in, and then I went to the page. Tickets were on sale yet. I refreshed it again, and then I waited a minute. I refreshed it one more time, and then it was available. I bought my 2 tickets. You can only get 2, it's a limit. And then my RV pass for the bus, and checked out. And then I went back and refreshed the page as soon as I paid for it, and they were all sold out. So they sold out in 2 minutes, and that's exactly what happened last year. And so I'm really grateful that I was able to get tickets. So I look at it as kind of fate, fate dealt me that right hand. So I'm hoping that I can, I don't know. It's going to be fun. That's all I can say. I'm just rambling at this point, so thanks for watching. I'll talk to y'all later. And yeah, find your happiness and all that stuff. Peace.